In this video, we talk and react about One Piece Manga Chapter 993. So, let's get right into it. First off, we see that the cover story is in Beji's Oh My Family again. And I was actually surprised because I thought it was already over. But we see that Gotti and Lola have married each other, so that's a really positive note. And we see some characters from the Thriller Bark arc, which is quite nostalgic. But what I'm really hyped up about is the small text on the left corner of the cover story saying that the climax of the Onigashima War is near. So I'm really hyped up about it. But let's move on to the first page of the manga. We see a narration voicing out the feelings of the people of Wano. We are also being greeted by a big Oni-like shadowy figure with people just trying to celebrate the day where nothing will go wrong for them. We learn that they're just holding on to the hope that they have in the Kozuki family as well as their retainers, that they might still bring peace to the land of Wano. And I think that this is a strong message, and a subtle one, but a strong message from Oda. Because people can do a lot of things, especially when they feel like there's hope. They go to the extremes just to try and see the whole situation through or unfold. And they do what they can. You really get the sense that these people are just holding out. Even though it does seem very unlikely for the prophecy to come true. It's kind of funny though, because they're just imagining the prophecy happening, but it actually is. And I guess the people feel good about it, even though they're just thinking of it. And maybe that gives them some comfort, thinking that it's really happening. Even the people in Leftover Town are just drinking water and are feeling so good that they're enjoying the taste of it. And I relate to this because the Fire Festival situation is a lot like when Manny Pacquiao has a boxing match. There is literally zero crime rate in the Philippines when there's a fight of Manny Pacquiao happening. So that's funny and relatable in my opinion. And while the people of Wano are celebrating, the war is actually ongoing. And we learned that Queen has already released his worst creation, the Ice Demon. Basically, it's a freezing bullet that is very contagious and it's spreading like wildfire. And they're closing the gates so that only the proper targets are being infected. I actually love how Queen is staying true to his title of Queen the Plague. And it's things like this that really make me think that Sanji will be the one taking Queen on. Simply because Sanji has the raid suit. And he would probably be immune to the plague bullets and the people that try and bite and infect him. And right on cue, we see on the next page, Luffy and Sanji breaking through the enemy lines. With Sanji's awesome panel, he's just kicking all the fodder around like he always does. It's kinda weird though, because he still isn't wearing the raid suit. Because in my opinion, I don't see any reason for him not to wear it. Because it should make him faster, it should make him stronger, and he would avoid taking any damage like that. They would probably arrive at Kaido's location much easier, much faster, if Sanji has his raid suit on. So they encountered Briscola, the Gorilla Smile user, and it was kind of funny seeing both of them thinking that the gorilla that Briscola spawned was quite weird or quite freaky. Happy Halloween, I guess. But Briscola was trying his best to slow down or stop Luffy and Sanji. Sanji even praises him that his punches were pretty strong. And I appreciate how creative and weird Briscola's attack is. His fist is literally a gorilla with its own arms. So he's like Apu in a sense, because he can create unorthodox attack angles. He can basically bend his arm 3 ways, making an extended hook. So we see both Luffy and Sanji arguing because Sanji wants Luffy to conserve his stamina, but Luffy wants to help because he wants to get to Kaido's much quicker. And then they were rudely interrupted by Jinbei smashing Briscola to the ceiling. And we see Sanji getting a bit jealous of Jinbei, I guess, because he was trying to bust off Jinbei for taking all of the credit. But anyway, with the help of Jinbei, this should become much easier for them. And we cut to the scene where Yamato, Shinobu, and Momo are running towards the exit. But they were spotted by Bawang's weird black cat. And she reported this to King. So King has relayed this information to the Tobiropo and all of the Beast Pirates members. So now they're targeting Momonosuke so that the samurai could stop. And really, I don't particularly like this oversimplification because it's being portrayed like cause and effect. If you cut off the head of the snake will die or it will stop. It's a pretty solid strategy, but there's no going back for any of the rebels anyway. So why would they even need to stop? Plus, this is the best chance that they will ever have to try and take Kaido's head. So I really do not believe that this will stop. And it's kind of weird for King to think that way. So anyway, Sasaki found Momonosuke and Shinobu. But Shinobu was able to evade the attacks that were coming their way, even going so far as using her body as a shield to protect Momonosuke. And it was looking hopeless because Shinobu seems to have taken a lot of damage, and a few follow-up attacks were coming their way, with this character holding a big axe, trying to finish the job. But Yamato, unexpectedly, or should we say, this was too expected, Yamato ended up protecting them, which Sasaki confronted, asking if this was Yamato just acting out again. But Yamato was definitely adamant about taking the side of the Kozuki family. So right now it's looking like Sasaki is going to fight with Yamato. Personally, I don't really feel this matchup happening. Hopefully this changes as well, maybe later on. I hope that Sasaki fights with Brook. Maybe Brook loses his way and finds himself in the middle of Sasaki and Yamato fighting. And in the interest of protecting Momonosuke, he would take over the fight against Sasaki. It would be interesting to see Sasaki and Yamato fight just to gauge out how strong Yamato really is. But I would prefer Brook to have that fight with Sasaki because he will probably learn Haki during that fight. Anyway, we go straight to the rooftop and we see Kaido unexpectedly unconscious for a short while. And the Scabbards really considered trying to finish the job off right there and then. But this was too optimistic for the Scabbards and Kaido was like, "These attacks, they're too shallow." For a moment there, Kaido thought that they were Oden-like. As it turns out, their attacks are still too weak. So I think this is a good time for Oda to showcase Kaido's talents and his strengths and build him up super high, much higher than what we are currently seeing. And I really think that in the coming chapters, the Scabbards will go down very easily, one by one. Also, we see that Kaido is still open to the idea of dying. I'm really curious to know more about why Kaido really wants to die. Is he just so bored that he doesn't want to live anymore? Or does he just want to see how far he could go? Because he keeps on saying he wants to die. He said here in this panel that he wouldn't have minded if they managed to kill him at that point. But since the cuts or the slashes that the Scabbards are making are quite weak, from Kaido's perspective, he gets up and launches the biggest, baddest counterattack that we've seen in this arc so far. In just one attack, he managed to defeat Kiku, which is really unfortunate because I don't see Kiku coming back from this at all. All 9 of them were so overwhelmed with the attack that they couldn't protect each other. All they could do was defend themselves, and unfortunately for Kiku, she wasn't able to manage to do that, and she ends up getting her blade sliced in half and her arm cut clean through. And that chapter ends there. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next. I really hope that this is a continuation of the Kaido fight. I've said it in the previous videos that the scabbards might be going down in a couple of chapters, and this seems to be the start of it. Overall, the chapter was awesome. I think it's a 9 out of 10. It was action-packed, it was quite funny, but there was no real rich backstory to it, so I think that's the only thing that was lacking. But overall, it was a great chapter. So, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Crush like if you did, as if you were Kaido crushing the scabbards with his wind scythe attack. Comment down below what you think of the chapter, and subscribe to the channel so it could grow. I would really appreciate that, and I could continue to provide you with more of that One Piece content. So, as always, stay safe now. Peace.